wrestling. Good shit.
Late to every episode. Late so much, I'm going to have to buy you a pregnancy test.
Bob Roode.
I want to be a podcaster. Yay!
It's not the name of Kenta. I'm going to call him Kenta.
Dynamite drop in, Monty. That broadcasting school is really paying off for you.
You're so high you don't even know it.
Ahoy, my boy. You ready for a Scotch ad?
We don't know anything about him. The only thing he's got in his wallet is a bunch of names of whorehouses.
That's Flair.
Probably look like Jim Duggan digging the tape out of his crotch.
Benoit, enjoy my wife.
That's a bold statement, Cotton.
Oh my God, mine just stopped recording. No, we're good. We're still recording.
What a dick.
I'd cease and desist me. I'd cease and desist me hard.
I need a minute to recover off that.
What kind of game is it?
War games! Let a war game!
You're our impressionist.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing I've said in the last half hour.
Bark like a dog.
Oh, Jinx, holy shit. How did that actually happen?
Here we go. Good Wrestling Day. I wish I could be opening with ole, 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 ole. But it didn't happen. I've been trying to call it for quite some time, you know it, and that's how I'm opening the show. Very fucking somber. Just like when the Bills lost, I pretty much felt the same way this past Saturday night. And ODM was there to witness it. Ladies and gentlemen, ODM.
Yeah, you fucking more like you opened up the pay-per-view with bourbon.
I did. It's a long show. But, actually, I didn't even start it in the beginning. I started it probably about second match. Thank you. We are the top of wrestling. Thanks for listening. Welcome back, as always, and we appreciate you listening on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe, like, and share. Today, we got news. We got Bring It to the Table. We got this day in history. We got Monday Night Wars 25 years later with Super Brawl 8. I believe it was 8.
Super
7
Brawl
or 8.
8, yes indeed.
It was 8. And we follow up with Monday Night Wars right after it with Raw Nitro. And, of course, we got a Movie of the Week. Let's talk news.
All right. I think the first bit of news is the most pressing. It's Jerry Jarrett passed away. I'll tell you this. I could tell you that Jerry Jarrett was monumental to the wrestling industry. And he's one of the most historical figures, promoters, bookers in wrestling history. Beyond that, I don't have a lot of insight. I don't have a lot of historical knowledge on Jarrett. Go listen to the Cornette's drive-thru. You'll learn a lot.
Okay. So we're just messengers passing it along.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I mean obviously, Jeff Jarrett wrestled on AEW Dynamite shortly after that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess it's what you do in the family. It's how you get through it. I mean, Mark Briscoe, a couple days, after was on Dynamite himself. So, which speaking of, I did see his kids were released from the hospital today.
Sweet. That's good.
Jay
news.
Briscoe's.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah. I did hear about that earlier this week, and then it was or last week, and then Jeff was on Dynamite, and Sanjay Dutt was wearing a jacket that was actually in reference to Jerry, which was cool.
Very nice.
This is one of it when you want to call, and I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was. Okay, I think it was what it was. However, this is one of the most pot calling the kettle black I've ever heard in my entire life.
I was going to say old man yells at cloud.
Goldberg claims that Rihanna was the worst thing he's ever watched. Said it was disgusting, horrible. And I'm like, bro, it is a legit way how I've described every one of your matches since you've come back, minus the one against Lesnar at Survivor Series 16.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm almost a little disappointed that you put this in the news The only reason I say that is because I saw this. I saw a tweet or a report or something.
I had to because fuck Goldberg. Like, are
Yeah.
you serious, dude?
It gives us an opportunity to say fuck Goldberg again, yeah, because I saw it and I was like, well, fuck that dude. Old, like, literally, it's old man yells at cloud. Nobody gives a shit what you think. Because now you're just putting it out there like, first of all, literally, this is not even with hyperbole. Who cares what Goldberg thinks about the Super Bowl halftime show? Who gives a shit? And second of all, why is it disgusting and horrible? What are you so offended about? Why are you turning all fucking Maud Flanders about it?
I was going to say, someone just got real racist. He did not like that there was not one.
Maybe he was just doing his Ultimate Warrior impersonation.
Well, speaking of wrestlers, getting in the news, NBA All-Star Weekend was this past weekend, and the celebrity game happened where, you just have celebrities versus celebrities, and they had like a 4-point line and a 3-point line. It was like a little mixed up. It reminded me of, do you remember what used to be on
MTV?
They had the Jock Jams, or
they had the big hoop, the 25-pointer or something like that.
Yeah, and then awesome. If it went down into both, oh my god, I missed that. And it used to have like all the celebrities in there. It was awesome.
It was
same thing, but for NBA. And the Miz drains a half-court shot at the buzzer, but the ball left his hand as 0 just ticked, and they looked at the camera and had to reverse it. Yep. If he had did that, the team would have won. Mm-hmm. Everyone went nuts, and I'm like, we are going to hear about this for the next 6 months easily on TV.
Probably.
I sank a half-court shot. That's all it's going to be. But it was awesome because he was a geek marking out in the moment, like, I can't believe I just did that. And then he went, okay, I got to get back into Miz mode, and was like, oh, what do you think of that? Oh, good. Like, it was awesome to see. I liked it. I didn't watch the game. It was just the online affairs of what I've seen, much like the Goldberg Rihanna thing.
Right. My kid actually told me about this. I actually knew about when you put that in there. Miz strikes me as almost Mr. Perfect, like where he could be good at any sport, like legitimately. Yep. So I actually heard Joe Rogan talk about when he was doing Fear Factor, Miz was on Fear Factor. Mm-hmm. And he said like they did this like underwater ice water challenge, and he said like Miz was underwater like in like frigid, almost freezing waters for like 3 minutes, like underwater. He's
competitive.
He's an athlete, man. He's got that gift. He's a twat, but
so not only that, we have other things in the news. I got to pull something up. So why don't you go on the news? Skip this next part. And
okay.
I'll bring up
I know you want to get it verbatim. It's another thing I saw. In other news, Thunder Rosa has returned to AEW. Now, I've seen two things. I've seen one thing saying she's returned as an announcer, because they have that Spanish announce team. We've talked about that, how they basically stole that name from another existing group. But then another is that there was actually a talent meeting held, and basically, they just kind of cleared the air about Rosa and her previous departure, and how they kind of want things to function moving forward. So, and apparently,
but she apologized. saying,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say that for sandbagging, like admitting for some of the things that she did in the last couple of weeks before leaving." I was like, okay, all right. It takes a bigger man or woman, you know what I'm saying? And if it's what helps. I liked her in the division. I didn't mind Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, no, definitely. There was that match with Diamante that left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, and it was easy to say it was Diamante's fault because she was the one that you could clearly see just rolling her eyes and be like, fine, I'll go with the move. And Rosa's the one that stuck around. I have a feeling that there's two sides to every story. I'm sure Rosa has a little culpability in this. But, yeah, man, I mean, she is one of your better women's wrestlers. Let's get her back in the fold and, let's get her involved.
Well, speaking of fucking up, Tony Khan done fucked up again. Look at this dude uses Twitter like someone who's in a breakup. You ever watch those couples on Facebook and they're like, I'm done with this girl, and then the next day they have their arm wrapped around that girl again? You know what I'm saying? Like, you've seen that shit.
Oh, yeah.
He's that guy that, like, if him and his wife broke up right now, he would expose the balls out of her on the internet. hence why the moment that, and I'll maybe butcher the name, but Ariel Helwani.
Helwani, yep.
Is Helwani, okay. He is trying to expose Ariel by saying, you're a fraud, Ariel. You're as legitimate a reporter as Tony Schiavone, 24. So what is that in regards to? If people don't understand, it's that Ariel was commenting on the sale of WWE, and he reported that it's not for sale, or whatever the case was. So Tony saying you're as legit a reporter as Tony Schiavone, being like, well, Tony's a staged character in a way for AEW. And what happened is why he's calling him a fraud is because Ariel showed up and did some interviews, not only on SmackDown, but as well as at the Elimination Chamber.
Yep.
So Tony feels slighted because he was getting information from the wrong fucking guy. You know who else you've been getting wrong information from for quite some time? That your little nephews like? Uncle Dave. And you've heard how he's being exposed, how Wrestling Observer is being exposed, how they keep commenting on things and saying, oh, that's not what we said in certain parts or whatnot. But look at some of the things that you've heard, and I even did verbatim, was the Dave Meltzer. Either they're going to go with this title match or they're going to plan to go with another route. No shit. Thanks for observing, wrestling god. I mean, come on. So, but TK is getting a little childish in calling out Ariel's reporting skills because of whatever with the sale of WWE. And then Ariel responds with, thanks for watching, old friend. Can't wait for our next chat. Also, don't listen to the snowman Schiavone. You're a legend in my books. Also, don't listen to the snowman Schiavone. You're a legend in my books. Snowman to me can only be one reference, and it's something we reference a million times on this show for TK, right? I mean, that's got to be what he was referencing.
Yeah. I mean, there's another layer to this, too. You remember Tony Khan just did an interview not too long ago with Ariel Helwani, and there's a lot of discussions there, and Tony was tight-lipped, and I mean, you've heard Tony interviews before, so you can kind of imagine in your head if you didn't hear it how it went.
He was very tight-lipped about the Punk situation. He wouldn't talk about the media scrum.
Right.
And he's so tight-lipped, well, then, fuck it. We're not going to come to you for shit. But then don't get mad when I show up at another place and I can do interviews and all that. And then Tony Khan responds with, good luck with unbiased journalism. You work with the most unbiased journalistic person ever. Tell me the last time Meltzer has been like, that was a great WWE pay-per-view. That was a great WWE match. And I'm not trying to say that they have been great in the last several years, but there has been some moments that should have been up in your 5-6-star classics, but you just only give them to Okada, Omega, and the guys of Bucks and AEW.
Pretty much. Yep.
So Tony is the most hypocritical, coked-out person I've ever met in my life.
Adderall's hell of a drug.
And I met him. I shook his hand, so I can say that. Man, shook my hand.
Couldn't stop shaking.
I'm going to stop because I almost went with, never mind.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm happy about, all right, let's shift into something positive. WWE goes Hollywood. The commercials are back. Have you seen this?
I don't think I've seen any of the new ones. I've seen...
well, and I know why. So, we'll kind of skip a touch ahead, but Chamber, we synced up, we watched as we said we were going to, Hidden Track. But here is the deal. ODM had some dinners and dealings to take care of, things to see, people to do. And when he got done, he wasn't there for the first several matches of the pay-per-view for Elimination Chamber. That being said, they threw a commercial or two in there.
Gotcha.
That's why they're back. That's why I missed it.
Yeah, they've been showing...
The one that they did show was a preview of all of them, kind of showing a little bit of what they're all going to be. But the main one that they showed at the Chamber was Seth Rollins as the Joker, and Becky Lynch shows up just as Batman, but the man That man, whatever, you know. And
get it.
it was cool. It was funny. And look, I was a huge fan of the ones that happened in 2005.
That they've been
And
showing
get
those
to-
a lot. I've been watching
Yep.
those. They're pretty good.
Oh my God, they're so all right. So the old ones were Triple H as Braveheart, and he's doing the whole "they'll never take our free, but they'll never take my championship." No one's there but Ric Flair, because that's all he have left at this time in his crew. And Ric Flair doesn't have a horse; he's got a fucking donkey, and he's wooing back and forth with the donkey. Outstanding. Eddie Guerrero and Booker T doing the Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, yeah.
And do you know what they call WrestleMania in France? WrestleMania? That's right. Outstanding. And he does a pretty good Samuel L. Jackson impersonation of Jules in that. I think that he does a good one. Stacy Keibler doing the Sharon Stone Basic Instinct, the leg crossover scene. And a bunch of the other wrestlers are at the table. John Cena and JBL doing A Few Good Men. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Christy Hemme and Kurt Angle was fucking hysterical. Where Christy Hemme, they're doing Harry Met Sally, the diner scene. You know, the faking an orgasm scene.
Yeah.
And Hemme starts going, tell me about the moves. He goes, well, then I do a Olympic slam. And she starts moaning more. And he's like, and then an ankle lock. And another one. Yes, yes. And they're both just beating the table, screaming. And they, of course, have an old lady. I'll have what she's having. Fucking awesome. And I think the old lady was Mae Young, actually. And, of course, Eugene played Forrest Gump, because why not? Actually, there was another good one. You talking to me?
That's
Taxi
the one I've
Driver.
seen. Yeah.
So it's where everyone is trying to do the parts. Are you talking to me? You talking to me? Batista asks, what's the line? And he goes, you talking to me? And he goes, yeah, man, I'm talking to you. What's the line? And he gets increasingly pissed off throughout the commercial. But then Big Show's getting pissed off because every time he goes to do it, his jacket rips. The mic hits him in the head. And then finally, as they go to do it, they go, WrestleMania 21 goes Hollywood. And he gets mad. Batista walks through the carnage. Someone goes, what are you doing here? You talking to me? God damn, it was a good one. That's why all of those, I'm excited. This year, apparently, we're getting Joker. You got Top Gun with Miz and Maurice. You got Bianca Belair and Montez doing Titanic. Rhea Ripley crushed a can with her mind. Do you know what movie that would be? I have no idea. It was like she's in an interrogation-looking room with something on her brain and then just...
Oh, it's Stranger Things.
See, I didn't think they would be going with a TV show.
Yeah, well... What is a TV show nowadays anyway with all streaming services?
Fair enough. But the best one is Roman Reigns sitting at the dining table, the restaurant table where it's nice and dark and red, and he's saying to Heyman, how am I funny? Funny how? And I go, oh my God, yes, I can't wait for all of this.
That's going to be great.
Because you know the Usos and everybody will be in it too, right? All the other guys at the table.
Sammy will be there.
No, I'm sure that was done pre. Don't bring that up. You have to bring that up. All right, whatever. All right, let's talk about what happened last week. So we found out Wardlow's really fucking sad about his hair because he grew it out for his dad, and that's the angle they went with.
I think it's a good motivator for a feud. I think it just exposes how much more work Wardlow needs on his promos.
That is extremely true. Even a filmed interview that you could have been editing to.
Exactly.
I missed it because I was outside cooking up some chicken nuggets, but I was trying to watch through the glass door, and Lil Jon had messaged me, and he's like, did you happen to see that the Elite, during the middle of it, the House of Black had like their own little logo flash real quick? I go, nope, didn't see it. I'm like, but I'll happen to check that out. But then on Rampage, they made it abundantly clear they're going after the Elite for the Trios titles. Take them in the first shot, please. Just get... I would love the Elite to not be Trios champ anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would like that too. I just
want something for House of Black.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the House of Black is just, it's so gone now. I mean, that's the thing. AEW is almost more evil than WWE because they've taken things that we wanted to see, made you think they were going to be something big, and basically just put them in a closet and let them collect dust.
Hang on. Don't you take my bring it to the table.
Okay.
And then also, we closed out Dynamite with a very dull triple threat women's match that saw Ruby Soho win. And do you side with the newbies or the OGs? Meh. You're heading to a pay-per-view, and this is what we're doing. Yeah, thank you. SmackDown, the biggest thing I wanted to give you, because obviously Raw, SmackDown, everything was the build-up to Elimination Chamber, which we did see Bobby Lashley say, yes, we are going to do the match at Elimination Chamber. Sami comes out to the "Let's Go" music on SmackDown in Montreal, and I put it in the notes. You earned it. You did call that one. That was, dude, the reaction to everybody there, everybody going nuts for him. When he had that moment on SmackDown, that is exactly when I go, he's likely not going to win this championship. This is his moment right here. And let's talk about the Elimination Chamber. All right, let's get to this first. I'm going to go in order of the matches as they were presented. First was the Women's Chamber, which was won by Asuka, as we all know. And all I got to say is, Mella's tits are money. So now we went into the next match, which I don't see here.
Edge and Beth
okay,
Phoenix.
well, no, the next match was actually Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
That's right.
Which
was pretty forgettable.
Brock Lesnar, yeah, well, exactly, because Brock Lesnar got himself DQ'd by doing a low blow. Do you know that they've had 3 very underwhelming matches for a dream match that you could have been putting together? Maybe we shouldn't get what we want. You ever think about that? We're like, hey, put these two together. Bad.
You don't know what you want. It was a 2K match. Brock shoves him into the corner. Finisher, reversal, finisher, low blow. And then Brock Rampage.
And then we were on to Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley.
You know what else is money? Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley.
It's a shame Rhea called the shot to go against Charlotte, because I'd rather see her and Beth at Mania right now. That's 2 huge powerhouses.
Mm-hmm.
Beth came out in Bull Nakano
Hell yeah.
fashion with the makeup on her face, which was so cool. Edge, dude, because they were in Montreal, I mean, I know some of the song. I'm like, on this day, I see clearly. I go Eddie Vedder for the rest of it. Mm-hmm. This crowd went word for word like it was Judas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was insane. I didn't realize it either. I'm like, damn, am I the only one that doesn't know the words to this?
Same here. I was like, I've been watching this dude for a long time, and I did not know any of this. That's crazy. But it was cool. Cool moment where both women power bombed the guys, and they were up facing each other like, oh shit, man, we both fucked up. It was a cool moment. I just don't know where they're gonna go with this come Mania. I mean, maybe it's Mysterio, Edge, Beth. No, Beth has to be out because she's against Charlotte. I don't know. Let's move on. The U.S. title chamber match. Look at Theory retained, but Montez Ford stole the show. One of the coolest things I have ever seen is how he crawled up and how he had his hands on the cage at the very top one way, flipped his body around while up, like you're on a jungle gym, you know what I mean? Or like on the ring.
He nails it. Yeah.
And just dropped down on them. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in the Elimination Chamber. And I go, man, all right, all these years watching it, I'm like, I've seen it all. What are they? Okay, someone's going to go through the plexiglass. Yay! And they did that a couple of times. A lot of things were done a lot. That's something I never saw before. That was cool.
That was, because the other thing, too, is when he spun, he hung there for a second. Like, that was not a natural position for him to be hanging in.
No. I mean, his shoulders were
and he just had it. This was his coming out party. He's that private party or private profits, whatever we call them. They're about to split up because Montez is.
He's about to be a single star.
100%. Let's not forget one more spot I'll call out was Gargano's Rana off the top of the pod. Oof.
That was my next part I was going to bring up. So what I loved about that is Rollins and Gargano were fighting other guys off that were up on that turnbuckle with them, and then they both just sat there on the pod and just looked at each other like, all right, and the crowd was just clapping, like, all right, cool, all right. And then Rollins just gave the hardest chop to Gargano while just sitting there next to him, and then just went right back at the wrestling. I just laughed how he just was sitting there, and he goes, all right, bam, just so you're not defending yourself. And then that Rana was extremely well done, to the point that if you check out the replay, Rollins actually lands somewhat on his feet as he went down. It was like the guys caught him just in the right time. It was perfect. Well flipped. Everything was done. It was great. I actually really liked the match until Montez Ford got hurt taking a curb stomp to the outside. Now, this is a
Sympathy
injury angle.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was smart after he just stole the show.
Yep.
Very awesome. But this gave the opening of the door for Logan Paul to come in and screw Seth Rollins so Austin Theory could retain. We've heard rumors that it's going to be Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. I'm okay with this. I think that Seth can take on the media, the social media of it, because you're going to be doing a lot of that crap with everything with Logan Paul of people. And Seth Rollins is going to look like $1 million in the end, because I don't think that Logan Paul will win at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's a good question. So Rollins is going to be able to joust with this guy verbally, if not like just lash him to death.
Yeah,
because he's great. He is good on the stick. This is a match that I'm happy to see, and we don't really need much of a feud. This is enough. This doesn't need to be a feud. This just needs to be what could be a good, marquee match, I guess you could say. It's a good question. You brought it up, Paul losing. He's a new guy. He hasn't really, I think he won that tag match with The Miz. Other than that,
they won the WrestleMania match, and then he lost at against Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, right. Which that one makes sense, and that's excusable. Man, I almost think Logan Paul's going to win.
I really think that you missed a good boat just to do Logan Paul and Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
God damn.
100%. Yeah.
Can you imagine the media that you could have brought to attention with that? You got boxing, MMA, you got NFL, you got ESPN, because just Pat McAfee being an announcer and doing what he does. I mean, that right there would have sold anything. That's a missed opportunity. But who am I? Who am I with logic? Sorry. And again, speaking of logic, fucking unfortunately, Sami Zayn comes up short. Now, how shocked were you to see not only one but two Usos in Montreal?
Very surprised. And you know what? It's one of those things I was actually thinking about it. I think maybe only
whose
one
car did they sneak in? Whose trunk?
I think only one of them's not allowed in Canada. Maybe it's both of them. I don't know. But
don't they both have a DWI?
I thought it was just
DUI
one of them
record?
that got it 4 times. But I could be wrong.
Oh,
It could be
all
both
right.
of them.
Maybe blending with Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. I don't know. There's so many brother duos that just...
They had to get some kind of work exemption, right? They had to get some kind of exemption because they weren't going to sneak them in. Like I was thinking about it, like they put them in somebody's briefcase or luggage or something, trying to drag
just
them.
You're
up
under
the
the
steps
bus,
of the
man.
plane.
Just put him under the bus with the rest of the baggage. You know what I mean? Like, he's fine. We got you, Oos. So we did call that. We'd have the interference with Kevin Owens being in there. But damn, did they tug on the heartstrings at the end with Sammy spearing Jay? Okay, now we're going a different route. Okay, but it's likely going to be the tag titles. Lil Jon messaged me. Now, he's in, I think, Universal Studios this week, or Disney, one or the other, and he said he was going to get to it later.
Didn't the Eagles lose? Message me. He shouldn't be going down there. That's for the Chiefs. Sorry, Lil Jon, I had to bust your balls. Man.
Well, we just lost our last listener. No, but this, he said, he goes, it didn't like the ending. I go, nah, neither did I. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with Sammy losing. I didn't like how they did it either. However, I did go back and think about this. Lil Jon mentioned, well, what do you think about the Sammy getting inserted, doing Daniel Bryan style, right, into Triple Threat? You could, because that build-up last week when you and I recorded, later that night, Sami and Cody had a banger of a promo together on Raw where Cody goes, I want to be fighting you at Mania. And the crowd started chanting, this is awesome. I'm like, why do you tease it if you're not going to do it? You know what I'm saying? I'm like that. And so maybe they could do that triple threat because, or at least splitting the titles one night. Do you know that Roman needed to use a chair and beat the living shit out of Sami to beat him before actually getting that pin? You know, yeah. I'm like, that's an angle for Sami. Roman, you say you're a wrestling god. You needed 16 chair shots before taking me out. I'm just saying, you have something he could work with. I don't know if they're going to. We'll see where it goes. Again, I only like to use logic because I was born with it. I'm sorry. Now, the same night, but starting at 10 o'clock, so as the main event was just getting started, that's another thing. That main event, the promo package to the very end of the show is 54 minutes. The promo package of Roman and Sami all the way to the very end. Even if Sami never reaches a higher peak than that right there, that's still something really awesome, man. That was well done. The storyline, it's still going, but everything right there, how it was done, you gave the man his spotlight that night. I think it was actually, for him at least, well done. Oh, and since we're not going to have all of the recording in there, because, as you mentioned.
Have you listened to it yet?
No, I don't want to. Anyway,
okay.
I'll get there. No, they made it huge talking about Montreal and the wrestlers that have come from there.
Yep.
The Rougeaus, Dino Bravo, Rick Martel, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to fucking do it. All night, I was so jacked up, man. That's why I couldn't stop. That was the issue, man. I was nervous drinking. Every time I got nervous and I thought about Sami, I was like, I should take a sip.
Made your own drinking game?
Yeah.
It's called Let's Drink. Drink more.
Every time they say anything about Montreal, Sami, or you think of Montreal or Sami, you drink. No, but it was New Japan Battle in the Valley. Now, they started at 10 o'clock in San Jose, California, because it's only 7 o'clock there. On site, in the crowd, Punk, CM Punk, with Lars, his buddy Lars, who's from Rancid, I think.
Sure.
I believe it's the same guy. Yeah, anyway.
I mean, obviously, you don't mean the drummer from Metallica, obviously.
It's not that guy. Dave Meltzer was there, wearing his finest dollar store mask. It's not going to save you, buddy. No, just kidding. Naomi and Bayley. In those last two, obviously there, because Mercedes Monet won the IWGP Women's Championship. As we knew that was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty botchless. It was everything I expected from a Sasha Banks match.
Right.
Versus Kairi Sane. It was the same match we've seen them have in WWE, except they just brought it to New Japan. Wasn't really any different.
I saw a picture afterwards. Kairi does not look happy that she had to hand that title over.
Well, I mean, either she's doing a good job at her job and character, or she is just equally as mad as someone like me, who's like, why the fuck is she even in there? That's how I feel.
A little bit both.
Earlier in the night, Kenta, who was actually asked, what did you think about CM Punk being in the audience? He goes, it's awesome. He had a chance to see a real go to sleep. Jesus Christ. I will say, I think Punk being there, this place, I think the talks of him going back towards AEW seem maybe a touch truer. And what's crazy, though, is I'm seeing things where it's like FTR maybe going to WWE. Like we saw the big rig that Edge and Beth Phoenix did, right?
Did you?
And then the FTR just did an interview. Dax said who he thinks one of the greatest tag teams out there is the Usos, and he puts them above the Hart Foundation.
Okay, now they're talking about their asses.
What I'm saying is, now it seems like you might be heading to WWE.
So, did you see the tweet that Dax put up and promptly removed?
No.
Okay, so
maybe
it must be like his
on
man
Twitter,
cave.
so likely not.
It must be his man cave or something, because there's one belt for every tag title he's ever won on the wall.
Yes.
Right? Pretty cool looking. And I think the tweet was like, oh, just sitting in the man room enjoying some scotch. I think there was like a glass of scotch and a bottle there.
I do remember seeing that.
On the left corner, you see the corner of a piece of paper sticking out with the WWE logo on it.
Like a contract.
Like a contract. Now, again, Dax is a master of trolling. So it could just be that. He could be fucking with people on purpose. I wouldn't put it past him.
I would, to be honest with you. If I was a wrestler and I kept seeing online how everybody's saying, he's going to WWE, blah, blah, blah. Like Kenny Omega, nonstop lately. Oh, he's going to WWE. Everybody has huge interest for him. I'm like, get out of here, man. And even if it is true, if I was Kenny, I would put on a fucking just Seth Rollins shirt and get seen in public once just to be an asshole. You know what I mean? Even if I'm not going there.
Definitely.
Randy did it. Randy did it to his benefit to make more money, which was good for him. But all right, so back to Kenta, the go to sleep, Punk, all that shit. Kenta won the strong openweight title against Fred Rosser, who is the former Darren Young. Mr.
Yep.
No Days Off.
Mm-hmm.
God, watching him here versus what you would have seen in WWE with the Nexus and all that shit. Jesus Christ, this guy is light years away from what he was. In a match that saw Eddie Kingston and Jay White, it turned out to be loser leaves New Japan altogether. And if Kingston would want to come back, if he loses, it would have to be under Jay White's permission. Okay, weird. Didn't matter. It was just so they had a rule for each guy. Jay White lost this one as well. So not only did he lose last week in Japan, now he lost completely in New Japan. Because remember we said, he can maybe stay with Strong.
Right.
So now we are definitely down to WWE or AEW.
Or Heroes of Wrestling. Sorry.
Isn't what's his name still the commissioner?
Oh, Lou Albano? No, he's dead.
Maggot. So then they decided to take the ropes off, and they had a filthy rules match because Tom Lawler is known as Filthy Tom Lawler, and he took on Homicide, huge Homicide fan from Ring of Honor.
Oh, hell yeah.
No DQ. He had chairs and ladders involved, but Tom Lawler defeated Homicide in this match. Just a cool, different kind of match. That's when Miss Monnet won her championship. And then, as we knew, fucking shake your head. Dude. You know it's really, you're mad that you didn't make it up.
Why do they call it Mon? It should be Floorsies. Never mind.
I got him. Roofies, got it. Okada defeated Tanahashi. We knew that was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Both title matches, the semi-mains, they lasted both about 20-ish apiece. Not a bad pay-per-view. But just very cool that, I don't know, man. It's nice to have multiple options to see on that night, because if you didn't care for WWE, you could watch one or the other. Just nice to see. But Revolution is shaping up for the next pay-per-view, and we finally have underway some of the card. And goddamn, am I not pretty unimpressed.
Surprised?
Look I want to go back to a year ago. Do you remember how happy I was? I had Cole versus Page, Punk MJF dog collar match, Danielson and Moxley, the ladder match, the triple threat tag match that had Red Dragon, Bucks, and Jurassic Park. Dude, I was excited. This year, I already hate this card, and I don't think I'm going to be watching live. We got a Texas death match. Shocker! Oh my God, you called that. You said last week they're going to end up just settling it in a Texas death match or something like that.
Probably. I don't know.
Moxley versus Page.
Yeah.
It was funny how when they were in the ring together on Dynamite, Moxley goes, "You want to do it? Fine. Texas death." And then walked away, and I was like, match.
Roadhouse.
I'm like, I guess it's understood. Roadhouse. I guess Samoa Joe is going to have to worry about the fact that he cut off Wardlow's man bun because he has to put his TNT title on the line. Yay. Look at this. You see what I mean? Like, I'm not even close to excited yet. Now, last year, your tag titles, as I said, was I already mentioned. But now, we're going to go from a triple threat tag team match to a 4-way tag team title match. And, of course, we're going to do the couple of battle royals like we did last year. Last year, at least, it was the Bucks and FTR that went on. Not FTR, Red Dragon. I think I was actually really happy about that because in the league, I really fucking swept on those battle royals. Nice. But right now, it's the Guns versus the Acclaimed versus 2 sets of question marks. Who is going to be there? So, okay, let's talk and take a quick glance at this right now. If it's not FTR, do you think FTR in any way or no?
When's Revolution? March,
5th
April?
Of March. March 5th.
I think it has potential to be FTR. Do I think it will be? No. Dude, I think it's going to be stupid. I think Top Flight will be one of the teams.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know who else. Their tag division is, so it's going to be like the Butcher and the Blade.
I was just going to say our Dark Order. Yep, that's my point.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they had a world title eliminator tournament? We were excited, and they put Preston Vance in it. And then the year before, they put Evil Uno. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 minutes. 3 minutes, I promise you. And in your world title match, it's official. You got American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, taking on Maxwell Jacob Friedman for the Triple B. And it's the 1-hour Iron Man match. I don't see in any way that Danielson wins a title. There's no way MJF drops a title in his very first real defense. I mean, he did a couple on Dynamite, fine, but this is huge, and I don't think he loses it here.
No, I don't see them taking the title off him. I think the best case scenario for this match is that MJF is going to hit Bryan Danielson so hard he's going to start shaking like Michael J. Fox.
Dude, do you know that when
MJF,
he tries to
Michael
take a
J. Fox.
piss? Yeah, no, I got it. I got it. Oh, shit, that's a good one. Do you know that when MJF holds his dick to... Oh, never mind, I messed it up. I gotta go. Let's bring it to the table.
Dun, 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 dun. Botch.
Just bring it, bitch!
Oh
my God!
Do you know that when Michael J. Fox holds his dick to go to the bathroom and he's trying to piss, he ends up orgasming? I kept it clean.
Boo!
He ends up ejaculating out of...
Onto a table?
I'm onto the table. I'm already there. That's where I'm at. I'm here.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Still going.
That's what I was bringing to the table this week. A really bad joke. No. Here we are, man. We are at the table, and I've been kind of teasing it throughout the show so far. Man, oh man. Poor AEW. You know, the formula wasn't too hard. The first couple of years, I think you had it. You did really well in the pandemic, which is weird. And even where you didn't do well, we gave you a pass because it was the pandemic. You 2 horrible stadium stampedes. And they were all right. But they were what they were. I did like when Matt kept going underwater and changing a version of who he was. That was decent.
And
then everybody's like, "Oh, it was Shag Gaspard too early."
It was yeah, no, those people are stupid. What was it? Paige and Wardlow at the bar?
Yeah. No, Paige and Hager at the bar.
Yes, that's what it was. Yep. That was worth a chuckle.
And then you got your really well cut version of Matt Jackson doing suplexes 100 yards across the field. Come on, at least admit it's pretty funny. They did the one, they cut camera, all right, let's run 50 yards. But it was good. It was what it was, without fans.
Good and terrible.
Fair enough, but that's, you know what, good and terrible is exactly what AEW is producing. And when I was saying the formula wasn't hard to beat, I'm talking about WWE. All you had to do was listen to what we wanted, right? AEW, I think, would have probably pulled the trigger on Sami Zayn this past weekend, right? Because they want the pop, they want the moment, they want to give you what you want. However, they also don't sometimes think about what you want, or oh God, I think Tony Khan needs to step aside as the owner. Be owner, be fine. Do your little tweets, do what you need to. Take a sniff, do what you have to. But you should not be in charge of any form of booking. Look, I like to play 2K, and I like to fantasy book all day long. But you put me in charge of a multi-million-dollar company and tell me this is what people are going to like or not like, it's a lot of goddamn pressure. And I don't think I even want it. Why don't you leave it to the people who actually know the business? And you have so many great minds there. You got Paul White, you got Mark Henry, Lance Storm, Dean Malenko, Arn Anderson. For fuck's sake, that is just some.
Jeff Jarrett, Dustin Rhodes.
Thank you. Oh my God, yeah, thank you. Even your vets in the business that are working there in Jericho, Jay Lethal.
Well,
Adam Cole
Jericho's
at
an
this point
exception. Jericho's an exception because he books a lot of shit, and it's just that.
Wouldn't it be really awesome if I fell into a pool of orange juice? Just imagine it. Imagine it. Okay, how about this? We'll add champagne. We'll make it mimosas. Okay, I think I pretty much exalted all the energy I needed to out of this topic. Look, it is what it is. I not exhausted all the energy I could out of this.
Either way.
Yeah, well, they work. I'm just disappointed, but I'm also just thankful that when one is not firing on all cylinders, apparently the other one can. I was enjoying a WWE pay-per-view this past weekend that wasn't your main 5. You know what I mean? Like your main, 4 or 5 that they normally have. I was decently impressed with the Elimination Chamber. TK, put down the straw.
He probably
try bourbon like me.
He probably just Tony Montana's it and fucking buries his head into it. Snowman.
Say hello to my little friend. And it's like a wrestling buddy that he's had since 1989. With stains all over it. All right, what are you bringing to the table before I make this worse?
Well, in a kind of a culmination of talking about it last week and the news of Jerry Jarrett passing away, I want to talk about Jeff Jarrett. I mentioned last week that, man, the guy never really got a foothold, never really lived up to his potential. I looked up some stuff here I'm going to run through here, but, and in looking through it, I'm going to say he was born too late for the territories and too early for the Attitude Era. He missed both boats. He just missed them. So when he was in high school,
I think that's a very very dead-on description. Mm-hmm. I think he adapted well enough once he started beating people with a guitar in the head, because that was at least a way to fit in the Attitude Era. But he was still, you're still like, you're still a territorial wrestler with a guitar.
Just Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, and it was cool, and I was all right with it. I've never had an issue with him. But you're right, man, just never got that pinnacle.
Yeah. So, check this out. So, he's obviously, his dad, Jeff Jarrett, promotion, wrestler. He was a ref in Continental Wrestling Association, which was his father's promotion, when he was in high school, and that was in 1986. He debuts as a wrestler at 18 when a job guy challenged him when he was a ref to a match. Eventually, Jerry Jarrett bought World Class Championship Wrestling and merged it with Continental Wrestling and merged it to make the USWA. Jeff Jarrett, now granted, it was his father's promotion, but still, I think we can all, give him props for his talent.
I work for a company where Junior's taking over one day. I got Tommy Boy written all over my fucking job. Believe me, I understand. I'm worried about it, so I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
Jeff Jarrett won the USWA Southern Heavyweight title 10 times and the tag titles 15 times.
It is funny, though, because, I don't know if it was necessarily USWA, but, Jerry Lawler himself has, 37 title reigns in one place, too. It's funny how often those titles changed, but I think it had to do with, it's not on TV. A lot of these are house shows.
Spot shows, yeah.
But, yeah, but still, that's cool, man. No, I didn't realize he had that many championships there. Yeah, that's crazy.
Me neither until I looked it up. Now, here's the fun part, okay? In 92, he wrestles in WWF while with USWA as part of a cross-promotional event. Here we go. October.
Is this when he came in as JEFF, JARRETT?
He did not in that cross-promotional event, but in October of 93, he came back to the WWF as Jeff Jarrett with that persona, okay? So that's October 93. He leaves after the 96 Rumble, and in October of 96, he signs with WCW. And then in October of 90... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you missed something in 1995. Spending my days working hard on the go, but the hand on the clock keeps spinning too slow.
Can you wait to be with your baby tonight?
She'll have to wait because I'm in the middle of a podcast.
So October 96, he signs with WCW. And then October 97, he goes back to WWF.
We watched that all happen. All of it. Well,
And
no,
then-
we didn't see him leave WWF, I don't think, at the time, but we did see him come into Nitro. We watched all that. Him and Mongo and Deborah, all that bullshit. And now he's here wearing a weird white garb every week on Raw as the NWA champion, I believe, under
North
Jim
American
Cornette and-
champion.
North American, yeah. It's
Oh, we're not done yet, though. October 99,
I
he
know.
goes back to WCW. Then in March in 2001, WCW was purchased by WWF, and they said, we're not renewing your contract. He went to World Wrestling All-Stars until 2003, but in 2002, him and his father started TNA, where he had himself quite a run because, again, he was the son of the promoter, so...
So is it too soon to say, with Jerry Jarrett passing, we've likely seen the last world championship reign of Jeff?
Sounds right to me, Slapnuts.
Oh, man. You know what? It's funny because you mentioned they were not renewing his contract when WWF bought WCW. That's the infamous, he calls himself JEWF. Now he's GOO, double E. I'm like, gone. Hey, man, did you know that on this day in history, Kurt Hennig called himself perfect? Let's go to the wars.
Marty, you've got to come back with me.
Where?
Back to the future.
Wait a minute, Doc. What are you talking about? What happens to us in the future? What, do we become assholes or something?
Give me a hell yeah! You want a war? You're gonna get it.
Mick Foley is going to win their world title.
Has been paid for by the New World Order. Come on, Vince. Step into the ring.
My God, the battle lines have been drawn! D-Generation X invades WCW tonight! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Have a nice day! We got you! Work for ya!
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. 5-time World Heavyweight Champion. The Bull of the Woods, if you will, baby. You understand? 25-time World Heavyweight Champion. I beat Ric Flair 25,000 times in a row. Had a legendary feud with Terry Funk. Well, Terry Funk always whooped my ass, so I don't want to talk about that right now. Oh, no. I want to talk about the man could beat Dusty Rhodes, Stardust himself, 2,000 times World Heavyweight Champion. Reach to the star, touch it off. Stardust, you understand? Reach the stars, but he never got the gold. But I'm oh so proud of my son, Dustin, you understand? Gold dust, if you will.
Has Randy Savage ever backed down from a challenge?
Brother! You, Hollywood, are not kicking me out of the NWO. I'm kicking you out.
See? We told you. Brother. Had to at least get
gets
it
old.
once, and that's from this past week. It's just, I love it. Look at it. It pretty much is doing it like, if you don't know, every time when ODM is mentioning how he's doing these from, inside the crowd. He's coming at like the section 100 upper near the 200, comes right out, stands out, and just starts saying, brother, 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 before the light even hits him, and the crowd goes nuts. Dude, he is more over than Sting is. That's something that no one has ever talked about. Sting comes out, you get a pop. But Savage comes out, everyone loves crazy fucking Savage.
Yep. Yeah, how can you not?
Yeah, still do. All right, man, so we got Super Brawl 8 from February 22nd, 1998. And we got the Monday Night Raw and Nitro to follow. Gimme it. Do it, baby. Like the Dusty style, just like Dustin talking about his daddy.
All right, we're actually in the...
I'm a 50,000-time champion.
Let's not spoil it. Come on, let's save it. We're in the Cow Palace in San Francisco. So opens up with the Sting Hogan hype package, as you'd expect. First match is Booker T versus Rick Martel for the TV title. Remember the weird stipulation where the winner of this match will face Saturn. They mentioned that it's going to be later tonight.
Later tonight.
Yeah, well, they're not wrong. You get the flock in the front row. I was wondering about this. Is Martel kind of like a tweener because he's been acting like a face, but he's working like a heel? Just weird.
I think he can't help but do the heel stuff.
Exactly, yeah. But, I mean, you know what? This was a solid match between two good workers. Booker won with a sweet reversal. Martel was coming off the top, and Booker hit him with the Harlem sidekick. Pretty sweet. Right after Booker wins, Saturn says, well, fuck it, let's just do the match now. He rolls in, starts beating the shit out of Booker, and the bell just rings.
Yeah, they didn't even, like, the referee was like, well, I guess both guys are here.
We might as well
I'll do
it. Yeah, Saturn was in control most of the match, but Booker reverses a backdrop into a sidekick for the win.
The best Perry Saturn match I've ever watched in my life.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, he looked dominant. Yeah, his best match until he beat the shit out of that jobber.
Yeah, I know. I just watched that again, like no bullshit, about 2 hours ago.
Did you really?
Somehow it came in. It came into people giving receipts. A video about people giving receipts.
I saw that WrestleMania.uk or some shit like that. Is that the website?
Something.
Yeah.
And there were some good ones on there. You know, like but this one was a good one. But also, look at, man, I give a lot of shit to Booker T because I'm like, every time I think about him and he's like, when you hear him talk and he shits on today's stuff, in my day, that wouldn't fly. And all I can sometimes think about is the guy with the dreads that's in WWE. And I often forget about, and then it's also just Harlem Heat. I forget about his singles run in WCW. Dude, up to par, or up to date, this is the best Booker T match, as well as what I was saying with Perry Saturn. This is the best Booker T match I've seen. Both, I'm going to give them both together because he ran 35 minutes.
They gave him time.
2 matches, and he went just about 35 minutes altogether. The Martel match was 15.
Yeah, 100%.
Good for him. It was awesome. They made him look really, really good that night, and I don't give him the right amount of credit sometimes.
Shucky ducky quack quack. Next we go.
Now I went back to hating him again.
That wasn't long. We go backstage. Jericho's doing his little shtick for the WCW website. And next we get La Parka versus Dingo Shitstain. Man, you fucking called it just about right on time. La Parka doing the dance with the chair.
Dude, as soon as he came out, I go, oh. Did I miss it the other weeks, or is it just right now that he's doing it as Super Brawl?
He did it like a week or two ago making fun of disco, and he just ran with it, apparently. I never knew that's where it came from.
And it's funny because as he comes out, he sees his face on the Titan. He just points at it. Like, this is me, everyone. Yeah, that's me.
Hogan did the same thing, actually.
I felt like, well, you know what it was, is behind that miniature half Titantron.
Yeah.
It was a crowd.
Ah, yeah, that's
so
right.
I feel like you're looking at that crowd too, because I was like, yo, everyone is checking their face out tonight. And then I go, oh, there's a crowd there. Oh, okay, you're giving them love too. Because I was like, shit, even Macho's looking at himself like, yeah, that's my face.
Yeah, you know how much I like La Parka, but you know what I did here? Skipped through Shitstain 1.
Yeah. Look, all I can say is, the reason he has the gig he has is he looks like John Travolta did in Saturday Night Fever and can kind of shitty do dances. And shitty do wrestling.
Pretty much, and let Big Show fart in his face.
Hey, don't worry. There's other shitty do wrestling coming up because I'm pretty sure we have. Wait, can I guess? I didn't even have it written down. Please tell me. Isn't next Mongo and Bulldog? Didn't we go from one shit stain to another?
No.
Or is that a little bit later?
No, we had a couple matches, a couple things here, a couple segments. We'll get to it, but I'm with you on that one. We do get Gene on the Rant with J.J. Dillon talking about a possible reinstatement of Kenny Powers. I'm sorry, I mean Nick Patrick. It's been a while since we've called it out.
I love calling it, dude, especially since I just finally got into Eastbound and Down like about a month or two ago. So now I was like, oh my God, it's really Nick Patrick.
The accent, too. It's almost dead on.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
I
kind of want him to come out to the I am a real.
A decision's been made about Patrick. They call him out, and he says, hey, effective immediately, you're reinstated. He hugs Dylan. He actually kisses Mean Gene. The way Gene sold it was fucking hilarious.
Gene laughed.
Yeah.
And then he had to wipe it off.
He had to wipe it off, of course, naturally. And Patrick's like, hey, I just want to know I'm going to make you guys proud, and I'm going to play it fair in the main event. And Dylan's like, whoa, wait a minute. You're not the official for the main event. He's like, well, what do you mean I'm not the official for the main event? What about my back pay? This isn't over. And he chases Dylan to the back.
But he did mention, I am the senior head official, which means I should be in charge of the main event tonight.
Right.
More to come.
More to come, indeed. Next, you get Brad Armstrong versus Goldberg. I will give Goldberg half a prop here. He had a really nice pump handle overhead suplex. But beyond that, he's still a piece of shit, and guess who won?
Not Rihanna.
Sometimes when you win, you actually lose. Next. No? Okay.
Oh, is this Mongo Bulldog?
Oh, no. I was just wondering if you were going somewhere. All right. You got Juventud.
Oh, no. I was going to sing a bunch of her songs, and I had so many that just came in my head I couldn't.
Work.
I want you to stay. Could just be Love on the Brain.
There you go. Never mind. Hoovy versus Jericho.
Wait, whoa. What's that in the background? Is that a guitar or is that an umbrella?
Ella.
Okay. Wow. For two old white men, we know way too many of these fucking songs.
I only know that song.
Move on?
I only know that song because of The Office. It's the only reason I know that song.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, but you knew Work. You knew whatever.
Well, that one we just make fun of.
I'll hang with your son. You know what? I've been seeing videos of your son rocking out at gigs. He seems cooler than you are.
That's a no-brainer. Yeah, that's not even in dispute.
But for real, I got to say, watching them play some Foo Fighters, that was the shit.
Pretty cool.
Nice.
Juventud versus Jericho. This is a cruiserweight title versus mask match. Jericho won't take the title off when the match starts. It's hilarious. As much as I have so much disdain for Jericho nowadays, back in the day, he was the man. Jericho plays possum on the floor, figuring, oh, fuck, I can get counted out and I won't lose my title. Fuck. So he just lays there. Commentary calls it out. As soon as they call it out, Juventud grabs him, just throws him back. Actually, he hit like a plancha or a senton. Jericho didn't see it because his eyes were closed. And this was back when he could actually fake his eyes being closed without them being wide open. So, hang
on, wait. I'm trying to think the name of it. Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The throw off the top. Yep, I got you. I'm there. I unfortunately remember.
Yeah. Jericho hits a Michinoku driver at one point. That was pretty cool. Hoovy hits a 450. The ref counts 3, but sees Jericho's hand has the rope before before he can recognize and stop the count. He actually counts 3. Juventud's excited. He's celebrating, but the ref calls off the win. Jericho gets the advantage. And, again, fucking another sweet move. Juventud goes for a fucking Rana. Jericho catches him right into the line tamer. It was a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Fantastic match. Jericho gets on the mic post-match. Hoovy takes the mask off. He's shielding his face a lot, but does show his face. And all I can really say about this is fucking Bischoff.
A couple things I could say. Hoovy's a good-looking guy. Took the mask off. They always make it seem like when they take the mask off, they're going to... Yeah, but he total babyface as soon as you see him. And it's funny because that's how he comes into WWE, in a couple of years. That's how he is, which is funny because you say fucking you just had fucking Bischoff. Do you remember what WWE does to him? They put him on goddamn lawnmowers and tractors and have him come into the ringside. So the racism only will grow soon. But let's get off that. Jericho is hitting hard the word Jerichoholics. Drinking in, everybody's drinking in. Everybody's a Jerichoholic, and he is hitting it hard. I forgot how much he was hitting this at this time. He just really is like coming into it hard, but you have to take off the mask, and Hoovy had it like half off and was ready, and Jericho ripped it off. But you're right, his hair was kind of covering it. You could barely see him, but yeah, he looks like a little baby face. I'm like, dude, you're gonna be fine, little buddy. It's okay. But yeah, you're right. You know, well, Conan makes a reference to it on Nitro, so we'll get there.
Yep, there you go. Next is the match that you were talking about. It's Mongo versus Bulldog. It was a short match, thankfully. Mongo injures his wrist. He tries the tombstone, can't get it. Bulldog locks on an armbar. Mongo doesn't quit, but the ref calls it anyway. Mongo's pissed off about it.
I almost hate to ask, where's Deborah?
Singing she can't wait to be home with her baby tonight.
Could be. I mean, she ends up in WWE, so I'm not sure if it's now or later. I think
it's pretty soon, man. Because I've looked it up before and I don't remember when it was. Because I thought it was earlier. I thought she would have already been there by now. But yeah, I think it's soon.
Mongo without a horseman, without Deborah or anything coming to the ring. I'm like, God, you just are shitty. Like, it's just on his own, and I'm sorry, man, because I know that the guy is, like, days away from, not having days. But it's just, God damn, he's just a bad wrestler. And then you put him up against a guy who's on so much painkillers that can't move his fucking neck.
This was a bad
hips,
matchup.
Arms or body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just not fun to watch. This belonged on Heroes of Wrestling.
Yep, pretty much. You ain't lying. Next, you get... a pretty solid match. Benoit versus DDP for the U.S. title. They kind of.
I want to go on record. From here on out, the rest of this pay-per-view is fucking good.
I kind of got the same feel, sort of. We'll get there.
Just wanted to throw that out there, but and for many reasons, but we'll get there.
Well, in your opening match with Booker T in 2 matches was a great way to start it off.
Those were great too. Honestly, there's very few things about this pay-per-view that were bad.
Right.
It was actually a really decent pay-per-view.
They jam-packed it, but they gave time to the good things.
But yeah, so DDP and Benoit had the expected face versus face match that you are going to have. But now I've noticed something in this match, and I'm going to jump the gun now before I forget. For like months now, DDP has had tape wrapped around his ribs. And this time it's black, but fine. But, it's usually just he's always had his ribs or lower abdomen taped. And then the next match, I believe, or was a match after, Luger comes out, and he is taped up in the ribs, too. I go, did they have an excess of tape that they had to get rid of this day? What the shit?
Think about it.
I've never seen so much.
They could have had a fucking sponsorship deal, because think about it. Now with WWE, they always have that kinesiology tape. Right?
Yeah, the K-tape. Yep, you're right. Yep.
So, could have just been made a sponsorship.
It was just, I
thought the same thing.
I was like, a lot of people are pretty goddamn injured. But it's only just the heel or just the faces. The heels are never having an injury.
Well, you need the heels. The heels have to have something to focus on. You couldn't tape. I don't know why it can't be an excess of tape because why didn't they do a shoulder every once in a while? Why didn't they do a knee every once in a while? It's always the ribs.
Oh my God! They fired Duggan and they had boxes left over. They had boxes of tape left over. That's what it was.
After seeing that shtick, I'd be like, no, I'll go buy my own.
Son, that's not where that jock strap goes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, some matches you just watched, they gave these guys time. They took advantage. DDP reversed a backslide into a cutter to retain.
Really good, quick, out of nowhere cutter.
Yep.
And even the crowd popped really pretty hard. Like, oh shit, we weren't ready for that spot. It was a good moment.
Yep. They've been doing that for a while now. That's one of the very few things that are good at this point. Giant was announced earlier as being at the pay-per-view, but Shivani announces that due to issues with his flight, he won't be here, but he will be on Nitro. Instead, we get a Giant hype package.
Grr.
Indeed. All right. Macho versus Luger. Macho still using the NWO music. I also put in my notes that Luger's ribs are taped up. What the fuck's going on? Man, I have a hard time with this because it's a fucking Nitro match.
Hogan. Yep. That was my same thing. I go, we've seen this match enough already, so this better be a really good banger is why they're doing this again with us. But no, it was a Nitro match.
And it was. And what I'll say is this. This was weird because Hogan and the NWO come out. Luger and Savage both fight them off. The bell rings. After the bell rings, Luger racks Macho. Then Hogan calls off the NWO. Then the bell rings again and Hogan says, I'm glad Macho got beat. And Luger's announced as the winner. WCW just aren't capable of booking a straightforward win, are they? Not between these guys, anyway.
No, not between the main event stuff. I'm like, your cruiserweight, all that shit, not an issue. You guys do a great job. Even the what do you call it? The U.S. title match with DDP and Benoit, I go, not one Flock member got involved. No shit. All right.
Yeah, I was surprised, yeah.
Now, did you catch Luger leaving the ring? He spit in a fan's face. Just as there's that, I think Doug Dillinger, the security that always is there, the guy with the gray hair.
The beard, yep.
He's walking by just as Luger's leaving the ring, and someone within the first 3 rows, but like right up at that barricade as you're heading up the ramp, said something, and he went, just spit right at him. And Dillinger went by looking like, huh? And you could totally see it. It's on the Peacock. It was dead on. He spit in a fan's face.
So I think that I had too much bourbon because I remember that happening and watching one of these shows. I just couldn't remember where it was, and I obviously didn't take a note on it. So, but yeah, I do vaguely remember that. I'm going to have to go back, watch, and see it just again.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm sure he probably was like, yo, you're going to kill Liz one day.
Oh, God. The pills aren't in the top drawer.
I lied. They're in the bottom. All right, let's move on.
All right. So
is next the tag title match?
Yes. Outsiders versus Steiners unified tag titles. Why are they unified? You're going to say the same thing I'm about to say.
Wrestling? Bischoff?
Oh, no. I was going to say that the thumbnail for this on the cock ruined it. Because I didn't remember exactly when it happened.
I didn't. This, I believe it or not, I only went to the Peacock to check out that Luger thing. This is my own version. It's funny because you get to see the commercials of, and next month the Coliseum video exclusive is uncensored. You can get it at home today. Love that. This, I knew this was going to happen because 1 year apart, it's crazy how leading into Super Brawl of 1997, Hall, Nash, and Six are in a vehicular accident with the Steiners, making them flip their fucking car over. 1 year later, nearly to the date, Scott's like, I'm going to join you guys. That seems good. I'm in. And am I spoiling it? No, because the match is like 45 seconds. Rick gets some offense in, and, the 45 seconds to the big spoiler, and then he does the run around the ring where he'll slide through Scotty's legs, does the, hands on his shoulders in a weird, creepy fucking way. And all seems good, right? Scott looks at Scott Hall, and Scott Hall goes, do it. Scott Steiner, in just the right time, he didn't do it too early. He was actually waiting for the camera to back up enough, gave a quick wink.
Yep.
Bam! Hits his brother with a double axe handle, and the match continues a little bit. The worst part is that Scott Hall nearly killed Rick Steiner trying to lift him up on the first Razor's Edge.
Yep.
Thank God he got him back down in time. Rick must have been like, I'm going down, put my feet back down. Whatever it was, we're both starting over. Saved him. And it's funny because, my head, thinking wrestling-wise, as he gets him up for the second one, Scott Steiner grabs Rick's foot and pushes while he's doing the razor's edge to him, meaning like he gave him the extra throw. I'm like, that's kind of a tag. That was my original thought. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck it. No one's getting that. That's not Bischoff's rules anyway. But
right.
So we now have Scott Steiner. Now I want to describe what Scott Steiner looks like right now. He comes out. He has the very shaggy black hair, the goatee, and the white singlet. And all he can do is just keep pointing to his biceps. He didn't even get an offensive move in, so it was just perfect, except against Rick. I remember this one happening, man. It was a big thing. And then he also takes out Ted DiBiase, I believe, too.
Yeah, he tosses DiBiase, and then Dusty posts him.
That's what it was. Dusty hits him, which my immediate thought, which is great considering Raw, I swear to God, my immediate thought was, man, DiBiase got the upper hand on Dusty and Sapphire back in the day. What a cool thing. Dusty got to throw him into the post, right? I mean, years later, whatever. Right? That's just where my mind goes, wrestling-wise. It was just, I liked all of it. I remember, and I forgot this is the night until we approached, and I go, oh my God. And I go, you got to be shitting me. This is a year difference from that car accident thing.
Yeah, no, I had the same thought. Yeah, man, so I knew it was coming up, but I couldn't remember what it was until I went on Peacock, and the thumbnail is Scott holding up Nash and Hall's arms. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
I've heard people complain of that on like certain threads, and they're like, yeah, well, unfortunately, as I went to open up the app to see that match or whatever, they already had the person holding the championship, so I saw who won. I'm like, oh, that's you're not going to use the DVD picture, huh? All right.
Right? Seriously, just use the fucking
poster
logo from the show, for fuck's sake. Anyway.
I do got to say, their transitions all night are giant fire explosion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In between each thing, and I was like, I'm really watching Nitro, but on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I thought they just got done eating Taco Bell, and that's the best way that they could describe what they were feeling, but be that as it may. Next, we get one of the worst ads for a pay-per-view.
That's how I feel after I sleep with Sonny.
I've seen. Oh, okay. Like your asshole's exploding?
Parts.
Like getting your prostate milk?
I'm just... Oh, have you ever done that? All right, main event.
Yeah. Buffer announces it as for the vacant, unified, undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Unified. Should call it Floorsies.
It's really funny for how much they keep saying unified, but vacant. Why do you even say vacant?
Yeah, I don't think that means what you think it means. Anyway, Sting versus Hogan for the vacant world title. Hogan's using the weight belt at the beginning. Sting gets the revenge with it later. You get a ref bump. Patrick comes out as the replacement. Hogan gets a 2 count on a leg drop.
You're good right there. We're good right there. I'm not going to cut you off. I'm going to have you go right back into what you're saying. All the way up to that right there, that ref bump. And now Nick Patrick has come out. Have you seen anything different between Starrcade and Super Brawl? They're both the same match to me. It's the same outside, inside, Hogan powders bullshit. I don't get why they're, Sting wasn't in shape. Fuck it, let's not have Hogan lose tonight. You know what I'm saying? It was like I don't get it. That all these years of claiming that Sting wasn't ready for that match. We watched it, and now I've watched this one, and I'm like, yo, it's cut in copy and paste.
First of all, Hogan was never great as far as wrestling matches went. They were all cut, copy, and paste. And Sting, honestly, for the same point, except maybe back in the day. I mean,
sure.
The current shit, it was pretty much the same thing, too. Press slam. Fucking corner shots.
I was more into the Luger, Macho, and the DDP Benoit matches
100%.
than I was this. And I swear to God, I didn't remember who won the match. I was like, it's probably going to be Sting, but I don't know. Is it? Shit, maybe NW. I don't know. But I still didn't care because watching it, that's the feeling I was having. They weren't... Like I said, that's why, to me, Starrcade 97 and Super Brawl 98 are the same matches to me.
Yeah, pretty much. Hogan hits a low blow.
Same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was. We get 2 Stinger splashes, sets up for the Scorpion Death Drop, but Hogan kicks Patrick before Sting hits it. So Norton and the NWO come down, Sting clears the ring, Savage comes out, hits Hogan with something, Patrick comes to, counts 3, Sting wins. It was a can of spray paint that Hogan used, Sting picks it up, spray paints WCW on Hogan's chest, or he painted WC on there, he ran out of room. And Dylan comes out to present the title to Sting.
He made way too big a W.
He did.
And he's like, shit, when I do this C, I'm already at his waistline. What the fuck am I going to do? Write it on his black pants? I couldn't stop laughing at
it was
that.
fucking hilarious.
But here's the issue with doing a giant schmaz.
2 ref
is that
bumps.
you had too many NWO members come out that you actually, until they show the replay, you didn't even realize Macho was the one in there who hit him with the spray can.
Too much shit going on.
Way too much. Could you imagine if it was just, let's say, Hennig and Hall? Fine. They come out, they get punched in the mouth. Macho slides in. Could you imagine the pop you would have garnered off of that?
Yeah, seriously. It got lost in everything because the crowd's already making noise because the NWO was coming out. When Macho came out, it was kind of hard to hear over that if half the arena even fucking noticed it.
It's because, and you know what's crazy is that I've noticed this, and I've been at shows enough when you know someone is going to be coming up the ramp. One of the biggest giveaways when you're there live, the cameramen who are at the ringside start running to up the ramp. And so everybody who's there live and with eyes are like, oh, what's going on? And they completely shift and look over. I knew someone was coming out. I know each week someone's coming out on Nitro because that's what happens.
Yep.
At least WWE hits you with a random, the music before they send the cameraman or whatever the case is, because they hide it very well.
Right.
WCW, I knew Saturn was almost at ringside before the end of Martel and Booker because 3 people kept looking over and looking. I'm like, what's the fuck going on, man? As soon as that 3 count hit, Saturn's in the ring.
And I think it was this match where you blatantly saw the cameraman run to the back. I think it was this match.
Hey, the main event you're talking about, right?
Like this particular one.
Yes.
I was watching
100%.
it, and all of a sudden, you're right.
So,
the cameraman just took up and fucking running for the fucking entrance.
So if you're going to do that, fine. Give me your Vincents. Give me your Scott Nortons. Fine. But you have to have the definitive Macho part because that was huge, and the crowd is already eating him up. Unless that's Hogan's like, oh, don't give him too much of a rub. Either way, the point is that Sting wins your championship. Doesn't speak Spanish like he did after Starrcade.
Yeah, this is true.
But at least he wins this, and it's the power of WCW, the shift. They now have the power because they have the world title. Most of the members of this entire company are on NWO team. So that's,
Pretty much. Well, speaking of, should we just go
so
right
I guess,
into
do we
Nitro?
lead Nitro?
Nitro. All right. They're still in California. They're in Sacramento. We get a DDP cuts a quick promo on his match from Super Brawl, but then get some reactions from him, Booker T, Flair, and Bret Hart on Scott turning. And we get Gene at the entrance of the
Everyone
arena.
is so mad that he was pro WCW for so long, and now you join the dark side. Everybody's all mad. And it's funny because Bret Hart's like, I can't believe you did it. I'm like, you've been here for 2 months, brother. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're the last person that... DDP, Flair, all about it. Bret Hart, what?
Yep. He did say something cool, though. He's like, I know what it's like. He dropped that line. I thought that was pretty cool. He was subtle. He kind of just threw it in there. I thought that was cool. So, yeah, Rick refuses to talk, walks right past Gene. Luger's to the ring, and apparently he found the cabinet where the tape was because his ribs are taped up even more than they were last night.
They had more tape.
More tape. NWO music starts playing, then it stops. Missed cue. Luger gets on the mic, says congrats to Sting. My friend Rick Steiner's devastated. I'm calling you out, Scotty, right now. I'm going to beat some sets into him.
Did you say defecated?
Defecated, yes, defecated. It means he was so distraught he shit himself.
Scott joined NWO, and I can't stop shitting myself.
Hey, man. It's real in the streets. Said, I'm going to beat some sense into you. Come to the ring right now. And then it takes about 15 seconds for the NWO music to hit. Somebody got fired. Hennig and Rude come out.
No, likely not. That they're like, haha, suspense, good job.
Yeah. I don't know. Russo wasn't there yet. So we end up getting Luger versus Hennig. Steiner jumps Luger. Now his hair, he has dyed it between last night and tonight. We've got full platinum blonde hair and partially blonde goatee. They haven't used the name yet, but he's got the sunglasses, he's got the white singlet, he's got the blonde hair. All he really needs is a chain and big Papa Pumps here.
And it's funny because the crowd, it took them a minute on commentary, even though they knew. And they're like, well, they go, it's got to be him. Who else has muscles in their arms like him? Who has biceps like him, right? But even the crowd was like, who the fuck is this blonde Scott Steiner lookalike?
Bro.
No one was even into it.
This period of time, again, I'm finishing up my time in Pittsburgh, so I wasn't really watching wrestling at this time. When I come back home and I start to get back into it, I watch WCW. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And I think my brother had been keeping up with it, and he goes, dude, that's Scott Steiner. I'm like, there's no fucking way that's Scott Steiner. It took me weeks to be like, holy shit, that really is him. Weird, huh?
Dude, the arms. Just the arms alone.
I know, dude.
What steroids are you taking? You're like, I want to put them all into my biceps, please.
Horse steroids. Those have to be horse steroids. There's no way. They have to be. It looks like a horse's leg almost. Looks like Quagmire when he found out about the internet.
Yeah, it's that way. It's funny because I was actually just thinking about the movie Dodgeball. One of your team members, the Girl Scouts, for the God damn it, Bernice, and she has like a full blown mustache because she had like a horse fucking like steroids.
Oh, that's great.
All right.
Oh, good shit. Yeah, so Buff comes out, makes a save. Rick runs in, stares down Scott, who's been busted open. I don't know when that happened. Actually, you know when I think it was? Luger hit the flying forearm with the metal plate. Scott got busted open from that. I don't know if he purposely got juice or not, but whatever, it worked. Yeah, Sting repels NWO.
I got
powders.
this new blonde hair. Let's see what it looks like when it goes pink.
Yeah, right. He didn't quite get the flare treatment there, but yeah. So you've got this face-off between NWO and Luger, and Sting repels NWO powders, and then this was really weird. The WCW roster ends up hitting the ring, faces and heels, and this was almost like when Luger didn't win the title from Yoko. Everybody comes to the ring. Dylan comes to the ring bringing the title to give to Sting, and everybody's in the ring like, yeah, cool, man, you won the title.
It's like watching a LeBron-Lakers game recently.
It was fucking depressing.
Pitiful.
It was pitiful.
It wasn't even good and terrible. It was terrible.
It was terrible and terrible, yeah, 100%. This part I'm only bringing up because I'm wondering, because they bring it up a couple times and they say it a very specific way. The governor of Minnesota has declared that Friday, February 27th, will be known as Ric Flair Day. And then later they bring up again that the governor of Minnesota is... Was Ventura the governor of Minnesota at this time?
In 98? No.
You don't think so? All right.
All right, how about you read, and I'll Google for once. Go ahead.
I like it a lot. Then you can't interrupt me. Next we get Hammer with the Flock versus DDP.
Don't fucking sell your
Hammer versus DDP for the U.S. title. Hammer tries to do a kick up at one point and fails miserably. It was wonderful. We get not quite an avalanche diamond cutter, but Hammer sitting on the top buckle, and DDP hits the diamond cutter. Still look nice. The Flock flocks. And Benoit makes a save.
The Flock flocks. So he was governor 99 to 2003.
Oh, wow. That's fucking interesting foreshadowing then. Never mind.
Weird, right?
The
I'm
Mandela
like,
effect.
for how often they're saying the name, you're right. It didn't even occur to me.
It's like they were dancing around it or something.
I like your flock flocking, man. Let's do that from now on.
You're kidding me, right?
No.
I've said it every week for the last 6 to 8 weeks.
Have you?
Multiple times a show.
Yeah, I block out a lot of the things you
But
say.
the thing is, you make the same noise when I've said it before. Boo-doo-doo. Chicken nuggets affect the memory.
This is your brain on drugs.
Spaghetti in a pot slammed against the wall.
All right, let's not bring the pot and spaghetti into this, all right,
Hey,
man?
You brought it up. We see a limo pulling up to the arena. Hogan and Bischoff get out, and they say, hey, no, you stay in here. I can't wait to talk about it. They head to the ring. They're doing the fast walk. They're not happy. Hogan kicks over a tray full of drinks. Calls out Sting for sticking his nose in other people's business. Sting has been stung so many times, I'm getting tired of hearing that fucking catchphrase. Wash, rinse, and repeat, man. It's Hogan. What do you want? Sting's small stuff at this point. Hogan doesn't sweat the small stuff. And my brother Scott Hall's going to face Sting for the title, and when he wins, he's going to give it back to me.
Yeah, that's the plan. That'll happen.
He cuts a promo on Macho. He wants a match.
He's too drunk to remember that he promised you that, man.
Yeah, seriously. That's why he almost dropped Rick on his heat.
He's too drunk to be an astronaut.
Too drunk, just like my mom. Cuts a promo on Macho. He wants this cage match at Uncensored. And then all of a sudden, from Section 208, brother.
Yo, I watched your face get red as you tried to do that.
Yeah, I know, man. Oh, Jesus. He says, you're not kicking me out of NWO. I'm kicking you out. Talk amongst
Which
yourself.
is big. I'm excited about seeing this part right here because you got Liz right behind him, and he's saying, I'm going to kick you out. All right, I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah.
And it's not where I thought it was going to go, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, our time with Macho is short at this point.
Yo, this dude has just drank nearly an entire fucking beer because he can't recover from saying brother 5 times.
8. And I want you to try it.
How about you just go, brother times 8?
It's not a bad idea. I actually might do that next time. Fuck. All right, next we get Kaz Hayashi versus Ultimo Dragon. Kaz Hayashi, if you want a quick description, he's Dollar Store Taka Michinoku. Literally. Dragon wins. Next you get Raven coming to the ring, and Benoit does it a little bit different. Instead of just running up full sprint and just decking him. Go ahead.
This is so awesome.
Yeah, describe it.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So, Raven's walking up.
Doing the slow walk, no music.
Yeah. And it's funny because the first time Benoit yells out Raven, he doesn't hear him because the crowd is going nuts because Benoit walks up just slowly behind him while Raven's not even halfway to the ring. And he goes, Raven! And he goes, Raven! And then he turns around and just immediately goes right into chops. It was so awesome, dude. And why don't people do that? I have not seen that.
That's what I'm saying.
Watching that right now felt brand new to you, right?
Yeah.
Because no one's done that.
Nobody does that. Yeah.
I've seen people run up from behind. You do the hoodie, the cameraman, the mask. Is that no one's just walking up behind, just tapping on the shoulder, be like, "I'm already here. Why the fuck are we waiting? Let's fight."
Yep, 100%.
I liked it. It was awesome.
Yeah. So it's a match. At one point, there's a slide drop kick. Raven slide drop kicks a chair into Benoit's head. And let's just remember that heat injuries are no laughing matter. As a bit of revenge, Raven comes off the top with the chair, and Benoit palm strikes it right into his face. Kidman interferes, but the best part is it's a DQ, but the bell rings before the ref calls for the DQ. It's hilarious because the bell rings and the ref's like... he's calling for the bell.
He just starts calling for it randomly. And he's
ringing.
like, "Oh, you're right. I'll yep, good idea. I'll do it since you did it."
And then the flock flocks. DDP makes the save, and Benoit actually hits DDP without realizing. And Zbyszko says, "Punch first, apologize later."
I do have to say, all jokes aside, I really do mean that. Ever since the feud that you had going with Sullivan, Even Woman is gone from TV now.
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we know the Fire Me, I'm Already Fired. It's coming up in the fall, but the women aren't involved in that. So I feel like we may have seen the very end of Woman on TV.
Yeah, I don't
as a character.
think she comes back. Yeah, I don't think she comes back.
No shit. Okay. It just occurred to me right now. I'm like, I don't think we're going to see her again.
I mean, honestly, she might be pregnant at this point. Very possible. Very possible.
All right, well, let's move on before I make a joke.
Thank God. Okay, next. We're going into hour 2. We get Jericho versus Lenny Lane for the Cruiserweight title. Jericho comes out wearing Hoovie's mask. Lenny Lane looks like a dollar store Jericho. It's dollar store Jericho.
Oh, Lenny Lane.
Lenny Lane.
Lenny Lane.
Yeah.
Never mind. I thought you said Ling Ling. I'm like, who the fuck is Ling Ling?
Fucking Jericho says, what? You don't... what?
Never mind. Let's move on.
Yeah, no, let's move on. Next slide.
Wait, what did Jericho say?
He says, what, you didn't know? I don't know if that was like a shot at Road Dogg or something. He kind of did the inflection, but not full on. It caught my attention. I had to go back. I had to go back and listen to it again, but so I don't know.
Interesting. Didn't catch that one. All right.
If he was wrestling Brad Armstrong, maybe it would have been a little cooler, but who the fuck knows? This is great because he goes, all my Jerichoholics are out there, and I just think that we should change the name of the show from Monday Night Nitro to Monday Night Jericho. I talked to J.J. Dillon. He's 83% sure they're going to change the name. I wonder if we get the shirts next week because Monday Night Jericho.
Within the next couple of weeks, we're definitely getting those.
Yeah.
Yep. Which means we also get
Rufus?
Rufus. Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone's plumber.
Yeah, Zabisco calls them the Jerkaholics. Get it?
He is so witty.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because...
I mean, I thought he outdid himself with New World Odor.
Yeah. But the best part is, Shivani, I couldn't tell if he was just being corporate or if he was being just busting his balls. He's like, hey, that's a good one. That's why they pay you the big bucks, huh? He may not be a reporter, but, back in the day, at least, he was... halfway decent at his job. Next, we get Vincent versus Rick Steiner. It's a squash. Man, Rick Steiner beat Vincent like he owed him money. It was something. Next, you get Yuji Nagata versus Saturn. Saturn wins. Next, you get Renegade versus Booker T. Booker T wins. See where we're going
That's
here?
One of those matches. Renegade versus Booker T. You know how you and I say this all the time. It's just one of those matches that you just put on and you just fast forward.
Yep, 100%. He ain't lying.
I was like, Ultimate Warrior 2.0. I'm still not buying it.
Oh, hey.
Booker T's on a roll right now.
Hey, it's not long before we get the real thing.
I just got depressed.
Yeah, I know, right? Next, you get Conan versus Lismark. Junior Conan wins. He hits a post-match promo. This is where I think he's starting to lay in the catchphrases that we're so used to. Hola, be Bowdy Bowden. Bobby Bowden. He calls out Juventud for getting punked and losing his match, and he calls him out by his real name.
For tapping out.
Yep.
And then, he goes, I ain't going to say Juventud Guerrera, but he says it so fast. Like, he's
it's Emilio. It's Emilio
so
something.
fucking quick.
Yeah, it's Emilio
something. Yeah, but no one ever calls him that shit ever again, which is crazy that Conan does it. You know what I mean?
It's actually, that's a fucked up thing. He's actually not even Mexican. I think he's Cuban. But that's besides the point. They portray him as Mexican. So
yes, Cuban B.
La Raza. Thanks for the setup.
I'm not Mexican, I'm Cuban B. Goddamn, that was so perfect.
It was.
You set it up. All right, let's go.
Hour 3.
You know what's funny? The movie of the week is not even half baked.
I know, right?
I am.
Buff and Stuff versus High Voltage. Guess who wins? After that, we get Eddie Guerrero versus Disco Dingleberry. Eddie wins, thankfully. Then you get Gene on the ramp with Dylan. And Dylan says, hey, before NWO files a protest, for the world title result, I'm the one who sent Nick Patrick to the ring at Super Brawl. There's no debate to be had. Sting is undisputed champ. calls out Nick Patrick, congratulates him on his job in the main event, and says, your next assignment is up now. Go to the ring. Patrick says he's happy all is cleared up, including his back pay issue. So that's a fucking shortest storyline ever. And it appears those two are getting together like lamb and tuna fish.
Lamb and tuna. I actually, I'm sad. I'm missing the old Gene. Maybe that's what it is. I'm missing woman messing with Gene. You know what I mean? I'm missing him.
God,
that was the shit we loved each week, man. Both of them.
That was the best. That was so good.
Hey, don't touch me. I'm on TV now. Let's be professional.
My mother's watching this.
Oh, I miss it. It was good shit.
Yeah, so much for that. Next, you get Brad Armstrong versus Ric Flair. Flair wins. You get the same giant hype package that we did last night. He's supposed to be on the show, and he is. He's in the ring with Gene next. He's wearing not even a neck brace, just those foam neck collars that people wear when they're like Vince did when he fucking turned the steroid.
My neck, my back, my neck and my back.
And then Giant with the line of the night. He dropped me on my neck, trying to break my neck.
Technically, he is not wrong.
And you can count on me in the parking lot. That's all I could think of when he said that.
Hang on. Why am I losing it? Hang on. Oh, Happy Gilmore. Got it. All right.
Jesus. All right.
I believe that's Mr. Gilmore's jacket.
All right. We get back from the break. Gene's in the ring again, and he calls Bryan Adams out. Calls Bret Hart out. Bret comes to the ring. They brawl, and Gene powdering when they start to brawl. I'm getting out of here. You had that at least. You got to take them as they come. This was just another fucking schmoz, and there wasn't even a match involved. Bret did the hockey fight move. That was cool. Hennig makes a save. Rude comes in to assist. Flair comes out. Flair welcomes Bret to WCW after they clear the ring, and he says, Bret, you are the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Thought that was kind of cool. It's kind of rambling, but he shakes Bret's hand, and Bret gets on the mic. He goes, I've been just sitting on the shelf for a little too long. I said I would tear the NW apart. Kurt Hennig, why don't we start with you at Uncensored? And then Flair goes to the ropes closest to the hard cam and goes, hey, you fat NWO boy, it's right here. And he thrusts his hips at him.
It's right here.
I don't.
Yo, he took people wearing that shit personal.
Hey, fat NWO boy.
I got to be honest. So I can tell you right now, the three main matches that I know of is they had a good one in '89, they had the '91 SummerSlam, and then they had King of the Ring 1993. And I'm talking about Kurt Hennig and Mr. Bret Hart. I didn't know they had a match at Uncensored, so I'm excited to see this match.
Well,
didn't know it existed.
Card subject to change.
Oh, is it really?
I don't know. I don't know. It might not be, but I'll be on the same page with you and be honest. I didn't know either.
Hey, yeah, card subject. I'm sorry. It's a Bischoff country. You're right.
You just never know.
Thank you.
Right. Have you ever seen the documentary Card Subject to Change?
Oh, I have.
Is it good?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's all right.
All right. It came up on my feed on Google TV.
Documentary subject to change.
Yeah. Is it about my polka dots? Anyway. Main event
with that.
Main event, Hall versus Sting for the world title. NWO comes out, but without Scott Hall. Hogan points at Nash. Bischoff gets on the mic and says, hey, well, Sting, come on out. Well, we promise we'll leave if you come out. That was fucking just awful. Sting does. There's 4 minutes left in the show at this point. Before Sting even gets into the ring, Stang comes out with a baseball bat and attacks Sting. Naturally, it's fucking Scott Hall in a Sting mask. Beat down, Hall hits the outsider's edge. Macho comes out. He gets overwhelmed. And eventually Luger clears the ring with a chair. But
no, wait, hang on. Wait. You said Macho comes out and gets overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, yep.
He's fighting NWO members.
He is trying to fight the whole NWO.
Yep. So, He has said, "Fuck the NWO, I'm out. I'm on my own."
Pretty much.
I just want to make that a point because
I like the clarification.
Because the problem is that Eric Bischoff and their production, how they do things is like catch what you can and you make what you can out of your storylines in your own mind. Everybody, good night.
Did you notice a new?
See you Thursday.
Yeah. Well, did you notice there was a new member? Because remember there was that guy they told to wait in the limo.
Yes. So. They do a quick little pan of this guy that
hey, who's that?
Looks like he's been sitting in the tanning booth a couple minutes too many.
Probably the same one as Hogan.
He looks like a biker. He looks like the bikers that you would see in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You know what I mean? The one with tequila. And they do a quick glance and they go, "Wait, who's that?" And that's it. That's pretty much all you really see of the guy.
They don't say his name or anything.
And we know who it is, and I'll call it out right now. This is the disciple. We're about to hear about the disciple, which is Brutus fucking Barber Beefcake. Looks jacked as shit.
He does.
What's great is that with the blonde hair and the beard, most people can't really even tell it's even him.
Worlds above Zodiac. And you're right. You can't tell it's him. You can't tell it's him at all. Because at first I'm like, it looks like Bryan Adams trying to look like Kevin Nash. I'm like, oh, it's Beefcake.
Speaking of, in the background, Bryan Adams looking like Kevin Nash because they're both kind of the same height, hair, and goatee. I watched them fuck with each other in the background as they were beating up Savage. They were doing mime type things to each other in the background, like, "Oh, you raise your left, I'll raise my right." It was kind of funny. It was really good. I was watching it in the background, and that's when the disciple was there too. But most jacked I've ever seen Brutus Beefcake. I mean, he's had 2 years.
Yeah, well, insert witty comment.
And that is how you end a Nitro. We'll see you Thursday, folks.
Yeah, again, I think, again, it's too long. There was some good spots in the show. If it was a 2-hour show, it'd probably been better on the whole. But the main event was the main event, just as it has been for like the last year. So,
yeah,
you know what to expect at this point.
Yep.
On the Raw.
But the good thing about that, only 2 hours.
Only 2 hours indeed. We get an LOD package at the start of the show, again chronicling their recent bad luck and running with the Outlaws. So we open up naturally with the New Age Outlaws versus LOD for the tag titles. LOD jumpstarts it. They do manage to hit a doomsday device, but Hebner decides that they're really going to enforce the you have 5 seconds to get out of the ring if you're not the legal man with Hawk. And while he's doing that, Billy hits Animal with the title, and they retain. And Animal shoves Hawk, Hawk shoves back, and they brawl. Pull apart.
Referees' rules subject to change. All of a sudden, being out of the ring in 5 seconds matters. Only tonight, right now, ever, on Raw.
Yep.
He's not out. Let's DQ him. But it's the first time we've seen them come to blows, really ever.
Mm-hmm.
What sucks is this. Now, last week I said, I started laughing. As soon as I saw them in the opening match, I go, this is really making this return at WrestleMania this much better. But now its understanding is why, right? They're coming to blows. God damn, I wouldn't have minded a month or two feud of Hawk and Animal just to see what they could have produced.
Yeah. Could have been something.
Better than what they're, gonna produce.
Yeah, no shit, right? I think, unfortunately, a lot of that is due to real life,
Now, look I'm going to go ahead and spoil this. This is a multi-segment kind of night for the LOD.
It is. It is.
My favorite part, I'll let you know when it is.
Oh, I'm sure I know what it is already. You know what? I'll even turn it over when it's that time because I'm that confident.
Beautiful.
So, next we get Ken Shamrock versus Jeff Jarrett, who's with Cornette. There's a ref bump. Cornette's in the ring to use his racket, but he hits Jeff Jarrett by mistake. And Shamrock locks in the ankle lock. Flocks. But Jeff Jarrett is knocked out, and the ref just calls it. There you go. Next, you get Lawler in the locker room with Animal. Get away from me, you punk. What do you know about family or brothers? Hawk runs in, and it's a pull apart.
Oh, that was my part.
Oh.
That, to me...
Oh, that was your favorite part?
That you didn't. That was, to be honest with you, he said, I don't even have a brother no more. And Hawk comes in and goes, you have no more brother? And how he hit him, ran at him. It was, look at, man, you got two 80s wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've mentioned it on the show before. Go watch the behind the scenes of Great American Bash, right? These dudes would take coke and headbutt a fucking locker for fun. Watching Hawk run right at Animal, they did it because let's make it look real. It looked so goddamn real. It wasn't the normal, well, I'm going to go to your waist and you're going to kind of hover over me and we'll slap each other's backs and right? Like every fucking brawl.
Yep.
This looked real. When he came running into the locker room and tackled Animal, it was awesome. The best thing I've seen of LOD in months on this show.
So, you know what was even better? Jim Ross on the commentary going, come on, guys.
Guys, come on, can you stop?
Hilarious. You know what was not hilarious? DOA versus Truth Commission in a 6-man tag. Kurgan gets the Klon Sniper and he actually gets the pin. And, yeah, they're still teasing dissension in Truth Commission.
Well, yeah, Kurgan beat the living piss out of one of them, and they had to drag him to the back.
Yes, yes. Who the fuck cares? Anyway,
exactly.
Next, we get DX at Shawn Michaels' home in San Antonio. Chyna is talking to Shawn's wife, very casually.
Ex-wife.
And, well, okay. Actually, I think he ends up marrying one of the Nitro girls. If I'm not mistaken.
Don't they all?
Yeah, pretty much. What do you mean, you people? Wow.
Look I will say, as much as it was cool to see them in their house and cutting a promo playing pool, because that's all Shawn's back will allow him to do, it was the most weirdest scripted promo.
It was.
Because where Triple H would like say something and Shawn would finish the line. He goes, because what we're going to start, Triple H's like, we're going to finish. And it was like a lot of that back and forth where I was like, okay, I got it.
Well, they probably,
but
he's trying to
the biggest thing they say.
So
well, that's fair enough. Hey, I'm going to give you. When I say up, you say down. Good. All right. Good job. All right, buddy. When I say water, you say pills. All right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
They say that DX is going to be X-rated. That's the biggest thing that they're leaving us with.
WrestleMania is going to be X-rated, and you want ratings. The next 4 weeks will be something. Next week's a good place to start because Tyson and Austin and Owen will be there. There you go.
And if it's X-rated, a lot of titties.
Smattering. A smattering, you might even say.
Smattering.
Yeah.
Smattering of pills. That's why Shawn's going to be there.
Well, I'll be sure to watch the rip that you sent me instead of the cock version because, All right. Sonny is your ring announcer. Is everything really that much bigger in Texas?
I was like, and which midget is coming out next?
Well, it was Taka Michinoku. So I naturally I naturally assumed it was going to be a light heavyweight match, but it's not for some reason. Cornette somehow duped Taka Michinoku into facing Barry Windham. Kane's music interrupts the match. Taka's already knocked out, but Kane chokeslams him and tombstones him anyway. And Bear gets on the mic and calls out Austin, says he wants a match with Austin and Kane next week. Random, but hey.
Very random. I don't remember him calling Austin out this early.
Me neither.
And I don't know what's happening next week, so let's put that down too. I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it'll be a schmaz. I'm sure DX is going to interrupt.
Probably Taker. Maybe we'll get Taker.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point because I don't remember where he comes back, but it has to be sometime in the next 4 weeks. Actually, isn't it the fucking Raw before Mania that he fucking shows back up?
Nah, a little before, because
Are
they
you sure?
set the match up in advance. No, WWF was actually really good at setting up matches in advance. You knew most of your WrestleMania matches within about 3 weeks before.
Okay, well, we'll find out soon enough. Let's see. So there's that. Now we're heading into the war zone. This is the part that I thought you were talking to because and I got confused because it doesn't have to do with LOD, but it has to do with the New Age Outlaws. So you see the Outlaws.
This is a good moment.
The Outlaws are leaving the arena. They're being followed around by Cole, And Road Dogg has a old camcorder, and he's videotaping everything. They won't answer Cole's questions. He just gets all dejected. Well, fine, we're not going to get any answers out of these guys. And he just walks away. As he's walking away, you hear the winding of a chainsaw. Charlie comes out, and he's just making sparks. It's so weird because he's not cutting into the car. He's just making sparks, but Road Dogg won't get out of the car. Cactus
it's funny because at first when I heard the chainsaw, I go, are they just grinding the gears on that car? I didn't realize it was the chainsaw at first. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with the car?
I was kind of wondering. I'm like, is he going to come up through the concrete or what's going to happen here? So Cactus comes out, attacks the car.
Cactus, yeah.
Yeah, he breaks the windshield, and they eventually speed off. It was a cluster, but...
And you may not know this, but little hidden gem for you. That camera that Road Dogg was using... He gave that to X-Pac when they all went to China overnight. It was a hand-me-down.
Okay.
It was a hand-me-down for a hand-me-off.
Yeah.
All right,
Would you really want that? She looks like she's got some fucking massive hand strength. That might be dangerous. Anyway. Goldust.
Imagine. Never mind. I can't, guys.
You might not want her to milk your prostate, bro. So, yeah.
Wrecked him. Damn near killed him.
Damn near fucking killed him. Damn sure. Goldust does a promo, but as his dad. And he keeps increasing the amount of world title wins that he has. So he has like 55,000.
And I beat Ric Flair 75,000 times in a row. I love this. I'm like, why didn't he do this shit more often? Instead of Marilyn Manson, I would have rather this Dusty.
Oh, 100%. Well, minus what happens next. He kept calling himself Stardust. Was that something from a Dusty promo that I just don't remember? And that's why Cody used it?
I don't know.
He said Stardust a bunch.
You're right. He kept using it.
Weird. Well, what happens next is the Dreams music plays because you can't fucking mistake it for anything else. And it's fucking Dustin dressed up in the polka dots. He's got a pillow in where his fucking belly is. And, man, Jesus fucking Christ, Vince really hated Dusty.
Yo.
He put the stretch marks on there.
On the arms. The black eyes, like you haven't slept in 47 days.
Yep.
It was so... I was like, I can't believe... Like, he obviously was not in a good way with his dad at this time. But
no.
Just watching it, I was like, oh my God. But as soon as I saw the arms, I was like, okay, it's a bit far.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking bad. Yeah, so he ends up taking on Bradshaw. Dustin gets on the mic like in the middle of the match, which he often did as Goldust. And he just starts doing the Dusty impersonation. And Bradshaw wins.
And then as he's on the way back, I think it was Michael Cole goes, hey, can we get a word? And he goes, I got to take this stuff off or whatever, this gear off. And you think, okay, that's the end you've seen of him.
Kevin Kelly's backstage trying to talk to Hawk. No answers. He just bounces. And then you get Steve Blackman versus The Rock. Farouk is distracting the ref a couple of times. Rock gets thrown into him and knocks him off the apron. D'Lo goes to toss the nunchucks. Worst shot ever. Completely overshoots him. Blackman gets him, uses him, gets the win. Rock shoves D'Lo, and D'Lo's like, man, Farouk told me to do it. And Rock tells Farouk to get in the ring. And Farouk's like, oh, man, I cost you the match? Damn, man. And he just leaves.
They pulled a gun on you just now?
Yeah, it's another thing waiting for, man. A lot of shit going on now. A lot of turning and a lot of fucking, yeah. Good time. Good time to be a wrestling fan.
Then.
Yeah, early 98. We get Kevin Kelly backstage with Luna. She's waiting for Sable, and she's going to be on her like maggots on roadkill. Jesus fucking Christ.
That's a vision I need to see.
Heebie-jeebies. Next in our WTF moment of the night, it's the Rock and Roll Express versus the Headbangers for the NWA titles, tag titles. Tommy Young is your ref again, but Hebner and Slaughter come to the ring, And Slaughter says, I don't want you reffing this match. And Hebner kind of does the finger roll and points to the back saying, you're out of here. And he's like, fine, all right. And he just leaves. They do the same spot. They throw Gibson over the top, but it doesn't matter this time. Cornette hits Thrasher with the racket, but he ends up falling right on top of Morton, and they get the 3 count. I did not know that the Headbangers had won at any point in their career the NWA tag titles. Cornette's just fucking up tonight.
Hall of Fame, here we come.
You know, Cornette actually likes these guys a lot. He gives them a lot of praise on the podcast, so he obviously knows them very well. So I'll defer to that. The gimmick was terrible.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug back in '98.
Yeah, or just cheeseburgers. That was his thing. But anyway, next.
Yo, if we take you through the drive-thru tonight, would you be willing to give us the titles? Oh, hell yeah. Put cheese on it.
All right, motherfucker. Where's my burger towel? Yeah, you know, he actually sells burger towel. Cornette's a weirdo, man. Anyway, we get a hype package on Austin's road to WrestleMania, recapping all the high spots since the Austin 316 promo. And then the main event, Mero versus Owen for the European title. Sable gets sent to the back by Mero at the beginning of the match, but she's just back at ringside a couple minutes later. Hits a low blow on Owen, and JR says, oh, he just Galata'd him.
Because that was a big thing. If you don't know the
topical
reference, Andrew Galata was dropping Riddick Bowe with dick shots left and right. And it made Madison Square Garden do a full-blown riot.
Chairs getting thrown into the... I remember that shit, yeah.
Yeah, it was... Dude, I remember it. YouTube, if you want to see a crazy thing, Galata Bowe, the first match. And it was like Galata's hand was just magnetically set up to punch Bowe in the dick every 5 minutes.
Yep.
It was crazy.
It was insane.
So good reference. Go JR. You were good in your day.
Yeah. So Mero goes for a TKO, gets countered into a DDT, locks in the sharpshooter, but they call it a DQ because of the low blow. It was weird. What also was weird was apparently Brett still has a lot of heat on him because JR goes, no one applies a sharpshooter like Owen.
Oh, that was an extra dig. Good. You know that Vince is in the back. Say it. Say the goddamn line. Say it.
Yeah, and this just turns into another pull apart between Luna and Sable, and it ends with Sable saying, you get your ass back in here, you little bitch.
Yo, I hear that every night in bed.
Right before you pull out the sock.
Speaking of, let's go to the movie of the week. I am not the one doing the movie of the week.
Well, tell me, Professor, have you ever seen the devil dance with the fuck? Take 1, take 2, fuck it. Movie
same as it ever was.
It's the same as it ever was. Jesus, not even the wars. What the fuck? I didn't even have bourbon yet. All right, anyway. Movie of the week. I have to give props to Professor because he did suggest it based on something that happened last week, a couple weeks ago for my family and I. We went to the Eastman Theater in lovely downtown Rochester, where we saw a screening of Batman from 1989. That would be the one Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. Danny Elfman does the score.
And Kim Basinger.
And Basinger. But, no, I just had to say whatever you said, I was going to say the opposite. But it was really cool because they had it on the big screen, and they had a live orchestra playing the score throughout the whole fucking movie. And let me tell you, it was so good that there were points where I forgot that's what was happening. I thought I was just watching the movie and the score was playing. They fucking nailed it, and they did it all the way through to the end of the credits. So...
No kidding.
It was fucking phenomenal.
Were they silent at some points where it was
just
like...
Yeah, sometimes the score's not playing,
okay,
and they just sat there, but I mean, it was great. Now, the only weird thing was they must have gotten a cut of the movie where the audio was edited to reflect that, but that cut was also missing sound effects. So, like, somebody would cock a gun and you wouldn't hear anything. So it was just a little weird at times, but, I mean, you got past that shit easily. It was fantastic. They actually did an intermission, too, and where they finished it was great. One of my favorite parts is, so, again, I'm going to get to talking about the movie here in a second, but, so Danny Elfman, lead singer of Oingo Boingo, did the score for this movie. And Prince...
It's a dead man's party.
Great fucking
Who
song.
Who could ask for more?
Yeah, it's a fucking
my
great
favorite
movie.
song.
Yeah. Yeah, Prince does the soundtrack. Some killer fucking tunes. So there's the scene where they go to the museum, and Joker and his cronies, and they're playing Party Man by Prince, and they're ruining all the paintings. So the orchestra didn't do that. You know, you can't fuck with Prince, so they just let the Prince song play. But in the scene, you know, his goons carrying the big-ass boom box, and once they get to Kim's table, or to Vicky Vale's table, he puts it down and stops it. And he lights the candles, and then the henchman hits and play on another tape, which is classical music. The orchestra did play that, and then they do the same thing in Vicky Vale's apartment later. The best part is, when they hit stop on the tape, the orchestra just stopped.
That's cool.
That was pretty fucking cool. So,
nice.
I don't know what else to say about this movie other than it's fantastic. Jack Nicholson is the Joker.
No, it's funny because it's one of those things. Did it need to be redone? Did it not? You know, and look at, you have the Batman Begins, Dark Knight, all those movies, and yeah, look at, I think that the guys that were in it, Christian Bale, you got Heath Ledger. I mean, the guy gave his life to that role. But for me, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, that's the original. It's the OG. It's the real one. And it's not just because it's what I grew up on, but, you know, just watch Jack. Watch his performance and tell me, yeah, I think it needs to get redone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Batman is dry in any movie. It could be your George Clooney, Val Kilmer, all those guys. But Jack Nicholson, damn, sold that thing very well. And they showed you from the beginning when he was regular, and then he gets the new happy face, the new paint. I love when his wife comes home. Honey, there's been some changes. Yeah, it's a great movie. I think it was... I remember watching that as a kid, and it came out in, 1989?
89?
I remember having it on a VHS tape that when you touched the cover, it was the smooth cover where the video came out of the bottom ass of it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You touch it, the logo was risen up in the air. You know what I mean? The Bat logo. Huge fan of that movie, and I don't know. I'm a huge fan of a lot of the Batman series, but still don't think there's anything that's ever been as good as that first one, personally.
Yeah, so I'm a big Batman mark. Yeah, so to me, it is one of the best for sure. So you had Batman Returns next, which was Michael Keaton with Michelle Pfeiffer. That was pretty good. Danny DeVito as the Penguin. That was solid. And then you had the Val Kilmer and the George Clooney. The Val Kilmer one was, you had Jim Carrey in there. He was pretty funny in that.
Tommy Lee Jones.
The last one was with Clooney was terrible because it was fucking Arnold as Mr. Freeze. It was just cartoonish and terrible.
Is that where they brought in Alicia Silverstone as well?
Yeah. What did she say? Something Robin saves her because she's Batgirl, or she saves him, and he's like, "I got you." No, I got you. It's like the worst performance ever. It was the worst delivery.
Yeah, no, the porno was better. Porno was way better than that.
But then
but for real it was. But no, I 100% agree with you. I liked Returns. DeVito as Penguin. The shit, it's so great. You're watching him eat the fish and all that.
Yeah,
he did a great job.
It could be worse. I could have no blood gushing from my nose. What are you talking? And he just bites his nose. It's fucking great. Now, I will say the newer trilogy is up there with my favorites just because, first of all, it's Christopher Nolan, one of my favorite directors. He's fantastic. He's got a new movie coming out on... I'm going to space on his fucking name. Of course I am. Anyway. So Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, to me, is probably my favorite. It's a good storyline. They were able to pull some storyline from the comics. Everybody plays their parts. It's the story of how Two-Face becomes Two-Face. Just fucking fantastic movie from start to finish. They really are right in. But 89.
Not a fan
great.
of the Bane one, the one with Bane.
Fair enough. That's very divisive. Yeah, no, it's polarizing. But 1989 is great because you hadn't really seen a portrayal of the Joker on the big screen since Cesar Romero. in the old Adam West ones. And he definitely kept a little bit of that, but brought his own kind of craziness to the role. And I love the fight scene at the top of the church at the end where he's getting the shit kicked out of him. He's like, what? I killed your parents, you killed I made you, you made me. What are you going to say? He goes, he puts on glasses. He goes, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses on, would you, huh? it's just
still keeping the comedy in right at the very end.
Yeah. At one point he gets hit in the mouth and he has his hands over his face and he spits out blood, but he also throws like the chattering teeth thing. So it was just, he's just fantastic. And Keaton as Batman. See, the funny thing is Keaton's so short, but still they filmed it in a way where, and he portrayed both sides great, Batman and Bruce Wayne. He played both sides great. It's great. It's dark. The score is fantastic. You got Prince singing. Come on.
And his butler is Lord Alfred Hayes.
There you go. This Week in the Wild.
It's not Jim, it's Gene. So, that's our movie of the week. 1989, Batman. You can catch it on a couple of different platforms that are out there for sure. Next week, we are back with, top topic. Just you wait. I can't even tell you what it is. I can't. Can't even tell you. And also, we'll be reliving more of the Monday Night Wars. We'll be talking news. Also, later today, as we are recording, it is New Japan's Last Love. That'll be the night where Naito and Muto have their face-off, but also Okada gets that match against the Noah champ. So we'll be talking about that next week for sure. Plus, maybe AEW is going to bulk up their Revolution pay-per-view. Maybe WrestleMania is on to a new kick that we're going to be excited for. Maybe. The only way to find out is check back next week. We are the Top of Wrestling Podcast. I am the Professor, and I bid you a farewell. He's ODM. His favorite number is 5, and that's how many words he's leaving us with.
Come on, let's get nuts.
The Top of Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Top of Wrestling Podcast. Your hosts are the Professor, Mark Fantasia, and ODM, Joe Rizzo, with special weekly segments by Nightwing the Analyst, Rashawn Hilton. Without your continued support, it would just be some guys talking wrestling. Feel free to interact with the show on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and by email at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com.
I was going to... So you didn't listen to the recording from Elimination Chamber?
Not yet. Have you?
Yeah, we're probably not going to be... I was there live. You probably wouldn't have been able to use it anyway. How many bourbons did you have before we started recording?
Well, that's why we probably shouldn't use it.
It was bad.
Dickhead.
You asked me a question like 2 or 3 times in a row. Okay, and then later you went to ask me a question. I go, so help me God, if you ask me that question again, I'm gonna fucking come over there and murder you.
Look it. She went to bed early. I had nothing going on. I was just like, well, he's taking too fucking long to talk to me. I'm gonna talk to myself. This is... Then we won't use it. What do you want from me, man?
Oh no, it's all good, man. I was just curious if you'd listened to it yet or not.
No, and apparently I don't need to.